More than 79% of Filipinos get their news from their Facebook feeds compared to other traditional media sources. And that's according to a study conducted by the Ateneo School of Government last year. Should this be a concern with just 34 days to go before the Filipino votes? To tell us more, we're joined by Rosel San Pascual of the Ateneo Policy Center. Rosel, thank you so much for joining us. Are you surprised by this number? 79% of our kababayans relying on their Facebook feed for political news?
Actually, while 79% of Filipinos get their news from Facebook often, our study found that Filipinos actually have multiple sources of news. For instance, TV is still popular, YouTube has emergent popularity, and Filipinos also consume news from news websites. So when we say news from Facebook, we mean incidental news exposure on Facebook, wherein respondents or asked about their news exposure in general, and they actually reported that when they come across news from Facebook, they tend to consume political news on Facebook.
And looking at your numbers, 59% said that they would click on the link to the whole story or watch the video at least most of the time whenever they see a political news story on Facebook. But do they really watch the entire story or video and comprehend the full extent of the content? Rosel? Rosel, can you hear me?
I have this morbid thing I do when I wake up. When I wake up.
Rosel? It looks like we're experiencing some technical issues with Rosel San Pascual from the Ateneo Policy Center. Rosel, can you hear me? All right, we will return to Rosel as we try to reconnect with her in a minute or so. But we move on. We move on now. She's back? Okay, I was told that she's back. Okay, Rosel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Apologies for that.
Okay, internet problems. So I was raising this issue with you, I mean, looking at your numbers, 59% said that they would click on the link of the whole story or watch the video. But do they really comprehend when they click on the story the full extent of the content?
We have to further interrogate how much of the article they read or how much of the video they watch online. At best, they would be exposed to the title of the news, the caption, the first few paragraphs, or the first few minutes of the video. Now, again, it remains to be further investigated. Actually, Rico, we need to also interrogate further how the public defines news. When they encounter news, for example, on Facebook, what is news to them? News nowadays has become socially constructed. So we need for them to be able to define what is news and what they do to verify online information. It would be an interesting next phase to our study, actually.
And when are you planning to do the next phase of your study? Because news could be credible and responsible, and there could also be a lot of misinformation on these Facebook feeds.
That's correct. That's why we actually advocate active news seeking from a variety of credible sources, that we should not merely depend on Facebook as a news source. We should make it a habit to consume news from a variety of credible sources, to read the entire story, watch the entire video after verifying the credibility of news stories. And just reading the caption of a story or video can be dangerous because this can be framed to be clickbait. It can be sensationalized.
Yeah, you mentioned about clickbait and stories being sensationalized. And is that basically what the 41% are doing at this point? They just read the headlines and share the story without really reading the content of the story?
Uh, for number one, we're happy that based on our findings, Filipinos are interested in consuming political news when they encountered such news on their Facebook feed. But again, to what extent do they actually immerse themselves in the news? That's again a question for further investigation that we will do in other rounds or further rounds of our study. Actually, it would be actually also interesting to combine more qualitative forms of inquiry when we ask Filipinos their news consumption habit and not just limit ourselves to survey, for example.
And so, Rosel, how many respondents did you have for this study, and how did you collect the data from them? And what is the demographics?
We have 2,000 respondents based on quota sampling, and the quotas are based on 2015 national census. We actually tapped an independent third party to roll out the survey for us from October 27 to November 12. And this independent third party has an online panel consisting of 315,000 individuals spread across broad regions, income class, age groups, and educational attainment. For our study, we have an almost equal proportion of female and male respondents. They mostly come from the younger age bracket. A third of them reside in urban areas. And of course, we also have participants from Mindanao and Visayas.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you conduct the study again today, I mean, you may have a different set of numbers, because I know there are a lot of people right now unfriending those who have different political opinions, basically to clean their Facebook feed. Has social media platforms made us more polarized politically as we get ever so closer to May 9?
Based on our study, there's an almost equal number of Filipinos who expressed that their political views agree with most of the political views of their friends in social media. But I don't think that FB by itself has politically polarized us, but FB has given those who have stronger tendencies to speak out an accessible platform for speaking out. We were used to discussing politics within our comfort zone of close family and peers. And with the emergence of social media, FB has enabled us to, get the sense of how others outside our comfort zone are politically aligned. So there is some sense of discomfort in that, I suppose, because we have traditionally been sheltered to mostly hear political opinions of like-minded individuals. But do we recommend unfriending? If it will help your mental well-being, then unfriending on FB is an option. No? However, our social relationships should go beyond mediated forms of connection. You may have unfriended an individual in FB, but you can still be socially connected and maintain that social connection outside the platform.
Thank you so much for sharing with us your research, Rosel San Pascual from the Ateneo Policy Center.